many studies show that over 80% of startups tend to go bankrupt within just the first year of operation. And with that being said, many small, medium, and large-sized corporations consider their sales department to be the lifeline of the organizations. Yet, many struggle with maintaining and managing the sales departments. Now, joining us on the line all the way from London to discuss that and more is the founder and managing partner of Alcon Maddox, Richie. Richard, Alcon Maddox, tell us a little bit more very briefly. What is it exactly that you specialize in?
Sure, thanks, Omar. Look, Alcon Maddox, we set a business up about 3 years ago. In a nutshell, we're a boutique management consulting firm that specializes or focuses rather on sales, optimization, and transformation.
Right. Now, many businesses tend to fail for one reason or another, but predominantly due to the lack of revenues. Now, how do you first identify what the problem is exactly, whether it's a sales issue, revenue issue, or anything else?
Sure. No, I think, look, unfortunately, there are a lot of businesses that go out of business in the first few years, and that could be for a whole number of reasons, right? Obviously, to say there's a problem with sales would be too easy because ultimately they're not making money. That's why you go out of business, right? But it could be, that perhaps the founders had very little understanding over the skill set required to operate a business at that level, rather than just, you can be very good at a function, but running a business is very, very different, right? It's a completely different skill set. So maybe people get into business not understanding that skill set, and that's why they fail. But no, if we just focus on sales, because that's obviously what we're discussing today from our perspective, we've realized that, look, every business needs a sales review of some form at some point, right? Because everyone operates under the assumption that they've got everything in order and everything's doing great, but the reality is, why not check it every now and again, right? Just like the same way you have a health check for your car. We've actually recently just created, we created a product. We've been doing this for years, but we've kind of repackaged it in a way that makes sense for people. And we've coined it sales operations review. Just like, you take your car for a service every year. This is essentially what we're now proposing in the sales ops review. Not to do it every year, but certainly to do it once, I think would be prudent.
Now, what are some of the main challenges that small, medium, or even large corporations tend to face when it comes to the sales department? But then most importantly, what is your approach? What is the approach from Alcon Maddox in terms of addressing some of these challenges, but most importantly, being able to rectify them or help the organization fix them, if you will?
The sales ops review, this particular product, if you like, we've created it as a result of the challenging market we're in right now, but also because the information we've got back from the clients that we've been serving over the last couple of years. So think about it this way. A sales operations review is just like, as I mentioned earlier, just like taking your car in for a service. It involves a thorough health check of your sales organization. So, and typically a 3 to 4 step process. So it starts with an initial project discussion with senior management to determine the depth, direction of the review along with the desired outcomes. Once again, I'll stick with the same analogy, if you like. So just like taking a car for a service, if there are any particular areas of concern, metaphorically speaking, any warning lights that are coming on, any noises you don't like the sound of, you don't understand, our team hone in on that, or those areas during the discovery, which is the next phase, just to ensure that these are not the symptoms of a bigger problem yet to manifest, right?
Absolutely.
And it's during the second stage, which is the discovery, that selected members of the sales population, so new and old, junior, senior, these guys are interviewed to get a full understanding of 3 things, and they're based around the people, process, and tools. So from a people perspective, we perform a subjective capability and attitude review of the sales team and sales management, including targeting, commissions, and culture. From a processes perspective, we're of course looking at the sales processes, but in addition to that, their practices, strategy, and execution. And then finally, from a tooling perspective, again, because we're talking about sales, it typically involves a CRM. So we're really interested to understand, how is data captured, what data is captured, and how is the pipeline managed. And most importantly, and holistically, if you like, we're trying to understand how these three elements interact. So, people should do the work, processes should make you more efficient, and the technology should help people perform their tasks and also automate processes. So based on those findings, the discovery report is then generated or compiled rather, setting out the work that needs to be completed in order to achieve the desired outcomes.
Now, from what I understand as well, is that you guys operate not just regionally within the Middle East, but also internationally. What sort of coverage, what sort of areas do you operate in?
Sure. So look, we operate, so I have offices now both in the UAE and Dubai and in London in the UK where I'm based now. But ultimately, look, this is where we're seeing the majority of the activity right now. And because of what's happening in, the global markets, we work with clients in the UAE, where we originally set up, and we have clients right across Europe now, including the UK where I'm based now. And obviously the UK and Europe is in a very different market environment, should we say. And that's why I think we're seeing more and more companies, just like I said, want to get their house in order. Because the reality is, and I'm sure you've seen this over the years as well.
Right.
Quite often when companies start to suffer, or when revenue is impacted, their knee-jerk reaction is to cut headcount, right? Let people go. But the reality is, what our sales operations review does is it enables companies to make a more accurate decision, right? Because the reality is, it may be that, look, we can keep all of our sales headcount in place if we just make these tweaks to the sales process and practices. And that's actually a much better thing for the economy, to keep everyone employed, of course. But then also, when the market does return, then you've obviously got everyone in place already. So I think we're seeing, that's one of the reasons why we're seeing this is a very attractive proposition for companies now.
Richard, thank you very much for all the insight and information, and we look forward to hosting you once again on the show. Now, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you stay tuned. When we come back, we cover all the latest trends and data of the Dubai real estate market. So stay tuned.